Welcome to Slow News Day Live. I'm Steve Poikinen. I am here in frigid freaking Boulder Creek, which isn't going to be any warmer next week when we're in DC. I am joined by my better than your co-host, Glory Jones. What's happening?
Yeah. So it's actually quite beautiful here in LA, despite the fact that it's surveilled as fuck. And all of LASD and LAPD are pigs. I mean, the weather, like, it is beautiful. There is like a nice breeze coming through. Like, it was sunny all day, not a cloud in sight. And it reflects the great news that came out yesterday that Scoop Gang is going to the next level with MCSC. So there's some motherfuckers that ain't ready for the smoke they're about to catch. Just saying. I'm a bit hype. And especially because I'm coming in hot too, because like I just came from Richie's show. So shout out Richie.
Glory was just on Richard Medhurst's stream talking about the events next week. So while we're all like getting into the chats and getting here, if you're at all near Washington, D.C. next Wednesday and Thursday, please come join us. We'll be meeting around noon at it's a plaza where Fox and NBC, I always fuck this up, but I'm trying not to. Fox, NBC, and C-SPAN are located. We're going to march to the CNN building. And then Fee and Pasta and Johnny Hollywood are going to meet us and with their fuck censorship protest. And then together we're going to march to the Google building. The 18th will be at the Department of Justice, and we've got a bunch of stuff that we're working on while we're there. It's going to be fucking wild. You should come. We're making puppets.
You should.
Yeah,
it's gonna be wild.
You should,
because I want to meet y'all too.
And as soon as I get back, I am gonna start organizing events at Google and YouTube here in Mountain View and San Bruno. I'm gonna get that right. So Google's in Mountain View. YouTube's official headquarters is in San Bruno. I'm gonna organize those. Also would like to do an event in LA on April 11th for the 2-year tragiversary, I guess you would call it, of Julian Assange.
It's a sucky date, but I'm glad that Steve's gonna come down to LA.
And it's 2 years since Julian Assange was illegally and violently trafficked out of the Ecuadorian embassy in London, and he's spent basically all of that in solitary and the entire winter without warm clothes.
Which didn't go unnoticed and activist by the community, by the way. This was something that we were protesting and quite literally spamming Belmarsh about literally every day. Big shout out to Nat, because she tweeted out the email that she got, which basically was politicians bullshit. Like, that's all there is to say about that. But yeah, they're holding his warm clothes in storage, and it's absolutely disgusting.
So do you want to jump right into the fucking shit show of censorship that has been happening just over the last, since they started demonetizing people left and right again, like in that brand new wave, because there are so many people that have been taken out, and just in the last 24 hours, they've ramped it up even fucking more. Can you, Josh, pull up the first tweet?
Oh, I thought you guys were just sharing those.
Okay, I mean, I can do that too.
My bad.
But,
because I'll be sharing mine. I have a quick story.
Okay,
we'll show y'all after this.
My bad.
Go ahead and
while you're queuing up.
Yeah,
okay.
And also Rachel Sotos, thank you so fucking much. That rocks. You're awesome.
Okay, so basically I have if you guys watch the Action for Assange vigils, then you would know that attacks and arrests against the press and journalists by cops have gone up significantly. So part of that is a case that I dropped in one of my rants a couple months ago about two journalists here in LA who were arrested. Their names are Vishal Singh and Sean Beckner Carmichael. They're on-the-ground journalists who frequently live stream from protests. So this is a statement from Committee to Protect Journalists where they said Los Angeles officials should immediately drop all charges against Vishal Singh and Sean Beckner Carmichael and refrain from arresting members of the media. So basically, and then I have the arrest here, where basically what happened was, in typical protest fashion, they were kettled. And this same night, members of the National Lawyers Guild were arrested as well. And Vishal and Sean were one of two journalists who were arrested for literally documenting the route, because the problem was apparently that they were standing in the wrong area. Quite literally, that was the problem. So this was November 3rd, which was, oh, what happened November 3rd? Yeah, that was the fucking election psyop. So fast forward and an update on that case. And this is from the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker via Vishal's Instagram. Charges against Vishal Singh, a videographer who works on Netflix documentaries, were dropped on January 12th, 2021. And the weird thing about that was they actually didn't find that out until literally this week. Director Rob Wilcox told the Committee to Protect Journalists, a founding partner of the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker, via email on March 3rd, 2021, that the DA's office made a determination to reject the cases against Singh and Beckner Carmichael in January. When reached for comment, both journalists told the Committee to Protect Journalists that they were unaware that the charges against them had been dropped and that they were confirming with the city and their attorneys. And they didn't know this because we all thought that their trial date, that their date to appear in court, was going to be March 9th. So it wasn't until this week when Vishal finally looked back at the case and the U.S. Press Freedom Tracker looked into it more, that they found out that the charges had been dropped. So, I mean, it's good, I guess, that the charges against journalists were dropped for filming protests. But at the same time, it's sus that they didn't know and that they weren't informed of this. So, yeah, that's just a quick update on that I wanted to give y'all, because it's part of a larger crackdown on journalists as a whole. And there's no way to follow every single case happening because it's happening all over the U.S. right now, especially since the indictment against Julian Assange was officially unsealed, and especially since the protests last summer.
Well, not only that, but when you hem up several hundred to over 1,000 journalists and, you know, intimidate, threaten, possibly fucking beat or you know, manhandle, leave them in legal limbo for what, 6-8 months, and then drop the charges, that also intimidates journalists. That also, you know, is a tactic to prevent people from going back out and doing the exact same thing, and, you know, perhaps filming cops being cops. You know, it's another form of scare tactic, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which leads to more censorship and
more censorship. Yay.
So if you guys remember the last week or the week before, I can't even remember at this point, when Patreon was threatening and then ultimately banned Last American Vagabond, we killed our Patreon when that happened yesterday. Patreon support has moved to suspend Whitney's account for alleged misinformation, but they have been unable to give a single example of misinformation, instead leaving that part of the email completely blank. There it is. I'm sending you an example. Is this still on the share screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's tiny, but yeah. I took a look and reviewed your creator page today. In order to bring your page back within our guidelines, kindly review and remove any and all content that advances COVID-19 medical misinformation. I'm sending you an example below. Blank. Yeah, so that happened. And then they're going to be moving to you're going to be able to support Whitney directly from her website here soon.
Yeah.
That's the move that they're making. They're going to put, you're going to be able to subscribe directly through the website. Ryan, Last American Vagabond, at the end of the month should be launching his new streaming platform. I have no idea what that's going to look like, but he's going to be on soon to talk about it.
Yeah, I got some examples for Patreon right here.
You one more time? Where'd it go? Where'd Beely's tweet go? What the fuck? At any rate, this just happened a couple of hours ago. Corbett report was indefinitely suspended by the sellout authoritarian censorship machine formerly known as Patreon. James Corbett, of all people, someone who's never failed to be objective and source every claim. Patreon yanks him. I have texted a couple of different people in the last hour because they can get a hold of Corbett way easier than I can. So trying to get a message over to him to get him on as soon as possible.
Do you want me to share the Vanessa tweet?
Yeah.
So, in other great news today, from Vanessa Beely. Hi, Vanessa Beely. We have reviewed your content and found severe or repeated violations of our community guidelines. Because of this, we have removed your channel from YouTube. Yeah, that's them. Yeah.
Nico just sent me a message saying you need to make a Substack channel of just memes.
Me?
Yeah.
I mean,
I said you don't even know.
Yeah, Gloria's got Gloria's got the best meme game, yo.
Gloria's got skills, yo. She does. She does. She's good at that shit. She is. If what you go for in a meme is like piercing reality and also funny. Yeah, but only if that's what you're going for in your memes. Otherwise, they're shit. I want to point out that while YouTube is yanking channels and demonetizing channels, and Patreon is yanking channels and doing the same thing, email servers or email clients like MailChimp and shit have been doing the exact same thing. PayPal has stopped donations. They were fucking with Medhurst a while ago because of a comment that was like too pro Syria or too anti or too pro Palestine or some shit.
Are you talking about PayPal?
Yeah.
I got my account locked in the process.
You did too.
Yeah. My account was locked because I sent him a donation that had the word Cuba in it. Yeah, because the discussion the discussion was something about like Western imperialism, and somehow gusanos came up, so I sent a message with some kind words about gusanos, and it just so happened to have the Cuba in it. So they sent me an email that said, your account is locked until you can explain to us the use of the word Cuba.
Cuba, you know, island nation, 90 miles south of the tip of Florida.
Oh no, I told them my use of the word Cuba. I was very blunt about why I used that word and why I was talking about gusanos. I was blunt about that because I don't fucking care if they know.
Are we jumping? Yeah, we should. We should just fucking dive right into it. So we've been talking about it now for a little bit, but we've been busy as shit, and there was a lot going on, and Glory was wrapping basketball season and shit like that. But the National Security Council on Artificial Intelligence came out with their final report for I guess the president. And holy shit.
Oh boy, it's
not exactly comforting. So
I read it in an airport listen, you know, early flights and that was sitting in an airport, had like, you know, half an hour to an hour of downtime or so. I thought, listen, I haven't started this report yet, so I'm just gonna try to get ahead on what I can before another wave of depression comes that immobilizes me. So I don't read it in an airport. I finished reading the executive summary and I looked up and that was a mistake. I mean, like, it should be self-explanatory, but I'm like, yeah, I'll do this.
In case it's not self-explanatory, you know what? Let me go over to and zoom so it's easier for the audience to see before I do that. There we go. There you are. Getting right into it, and again, this is just their summary of it. We're going to do a further deep dive into the contents of it over the next several shows.
Yeah.
Because it's going to take a minute. It really is.
It's 700 pages, and like, in looking at the table of contents, only about a fourth or a third of it is the actual like chapters with their official report. But then after it, that's when they go into their blueprints for action. And that's where you can see where they want the spending to go and who they want to be on their councils. Like for instance, they want the...
I'm just going to come back to you. Go ahead.
I mean, for instance, I can't pull it up now because it's lost in a shit ton of notes right now, and I just didn't pull it up. But like, their plans for the oversight committee to make sure that they're preserving civil liberties. It includes the fucking director of the Office of National Intelligence, the director of the CIA, and like the DHS director and all these fucks. And like, it's just bureaucrat. Oh, and we have a little civil liberties oversight person down at the bottom of our list. That's what their blueprint looks like. So that's just a little taste of the wholesome deep dive you're gonna get from this piece of shit. You can go back, Steve.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. No comfortable historical reference captures the impact of artificial intelligence on national security. That's a great way to start. AI is not a single technology breakthrough like a Batwing stealth bomber, which is the last piece of technology that the government has really showed you, and that came out, 30 years ago? 40, maybe? I don't know. The race for AI supremacy is not like the space race to the moon. AI is not comparable to a general purpose technology like electricity. However, what Thomas Edison said of electricity encapsulates the AI future. If it is a field of fields, it holds the secrets which will reorganize the life of the world. Edison's astounding assessment came from theft. All he discovered was very little in comparison with the possibilities that appear, again, because he stole it from Nikola Tesla. But I want to come back to a sentence here real quick because it's fucking weird. The race for AI supremacy. This is like what the third sentence of this report, and they're telling you that the goal is to create AI that can outbattle all the other AI. Like, the foundation of this report is essentially setting the stage for the next evolution in warfare, which is warfare being waged by machines using humans as the people who do a decent portion of the dying, if not the fighting. So getting back to this, Jesus Christ, this is going to be joyous, by the way. I recommend
wonderful.
I recommend that as we go through this, you bring whatever it is you need to bring to help mellow you out. The NSCAI humbly acknowledges how much remains to be discovered about AI and its future applications. Nevertheless, we know enough about AI today to begin with two convictions. First, the rapidly improving ability of computer systems to solve problems and perform tasks that would otherwise require human intelligence and in some instances exceed human performance is world-altering. AI technologies are the most powerful tools in generations for expanding knowledge, increasing prosperity, and enriching the human experience. That's right. Artificial intelligence enriches the human experience. AI is also the quintessential dual-use technology. The ability of a machine to perceive, evaluate, and act more quickly and accurately than a human represents a competitive advantage in any field, civilian or military. AI technologies will be a source of enormous power for the companies and countries that harness them.
Oh, I like this paragraph.
Go ahead then.
Oh, okay. Second, AI is expanding the window of vulnerability the United States has already entered. For the first time since World War II, America's technological predominance, the backbone of its economic and military power, is under threat. China possesses the might, talent, and ambition to surpass the United States as the world's leader in AI in the next decade if current trends do not change. This next sentence, though, simultaneously, AI is deepening the threat posed by cyber attacks, solar winds much, and disinformation campaigns, gatekeeping much, that Russia, China, and others are using to infiltrate our society, steal our data, and interfere with our democracy, your non-existent fucking oligarchy, bitch, okay? The limited uses of AI-enabled attacks to date represent the tip of the iceberg. Meanwhile, global crises, exemplified by the COVID-19 pandemic and climate change, highlight the need to expand our conception of national security and find innovative AI-enabled solutions.
What is that? What I mean, what does that say to you? I know how I read it.
That's okay. So, a couple months ago, Hillary Clinton, our good friend Hillary Clinton, wrote an article for Foreign Affairs saying that the COVID-19 pandemic presents an opportunity for a pivot in national security. I get those vibes. I also get incredibly amazing vibes from that one sentence about the increase in cyber hacking and misinformation campaigns. Because don't we just love how misinformation campaigns just turns into massive attempts to gatekeep and to censor people? Now they'll be able to do it indiscriminately with the use of AI. Oh my God. And all with the imperialist competition that the US wants to present? Oh, there's more I don't like about it. There's more. But I'm going to hold it back for
This is just the
the
introduction. We haven't even this is just the introduction to the summary. It's just there's a lot of shit that they kind of if you read it, I don't know, as less of a pitch and more of here's what we're planning. It's worth going through basically paragraph by paragraph. This is only 8 pages too. And I don't know if we'll go through it line by line. But this is shit we need to be aware of.
Oh, I like that big quote thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, come on, Steve. Put on your best pitch voice for that.
The NSCAI final report presents an integrated national strategy to reorganize the government, reorient the nation, and rally our closest allies and partners to defend and compete in the coming era of AI accelerated competition and conflict.
Wow, I am still not sold.
Right. Given these convictions, the commission concludes that the U.S. must act now to field AI systems and invest substantially more resources in AI innovation to protect its security, promote its prosperity, and safeguard the future of democracy. I needed
my
the voice
God.
for that. Today, the government is not organizing or investing to win the technology competition against a committed competitor, nor is it prepared to defend against AI-enabled threats and rapidly adopt AI applications for national security purposes. This is not a time for incremental toggles to federal research budgets or adding a few new positions in the Pentagon for Silicon Valley technologists. This will be expensive and require a significant change in mindset. America needs White House leadership, cabinet member action, and bipartisan congressional support to win the AI era. I want to come back to that, but I want to get through this real quick. The NSCAI final report presents an integrated national strategy to reorganize the government, reorient the nation, and rally our closest allies and partners to defend and compete in the coming era of AI accelerated competition and conflict. Holy fuck. It's a two-pronged approach. Part 1, defending America in the AI era, outlines the stakes, explains what the U.S. must do to defend against the spectrum of AI-related threats, and recommends how the government can responsibly use AI technologies to protect the people and our interests. Part 2, winning the technology competition, addresses the critical elements of the AI competition and recommends actions the government must take to promote AI innovation and to improve national competitiveness and protect critical U.S. advantages. The recommendations are designed as interlocking and mutually reinforcing actions that must be taken together. I want to hear it, Jones. What do you got?
That first paragraph, that first paragraph, it's not time for incremental toggles. That part, we have to reorient all of society.
Yeah.
We don't just need a few more positions in Pentagon and Silicon Valley. Reorganize the government and reorient the nation. We already have I am tired of hearing the word throughout the reset. Do we need more re's? Do we really? With AI now? Okay. But
so I mean, look at what they're conceding. Like
Okay,
right off the
and here's
bat
my
throughout
thing.
the report.
Why are we trusting anything that wants to safeguard the future of democracy?
Well,
What
we're
the
gonna get
flying
into the people that are on the NSCAI, and we're gonna get into the guy who's consistently co-authoring the reports and the white papers and shit. But I do like, this is, in my opinion, is fucking critical, because the entire way the NSC, the National Security Council, this is, you know, are conceding that we are entering the AI era. Not that there will be AI and we will be using it and it will be, you know, a human era. That
I don't care if Moby fucking Dick writes this report. Anybody who says the phrase safeguard our democracy, red flags are coming up, because first of all, this is common knowledge. We don't have a democracy. We're a fucking failed state, a technocratic panopticon, an oligarchy, whatever you want to call it. It's not a democracy, and safeguarding it is only a buzzword for shit like fortify the election, because who's going to be the one safeguarding it is going to be the fucking national security state, that's for sure. Fortifying our election to safeguard our democracy, that was the buzzwords they used in order to rig the fucking election. Yay! Yay. I just...
Yeah. No, I
don't know if you want the link, chat. I really don't.
So it's a link to a PDF. I'm not 100% sure if we can drop that in chat, but we can certainly try. And I'll do it in Rockfin first because it's open and it's my favorite.
Yeah. Well, or in the other case, wouldn't we want to do YouTube first because we really don't like this report?
I mean, it's going there. I just don't have it up on my laptop.
All right. Well, I'll take YouTube then.
Okay.
Putting this in the YouTube because I'm a mod first and foremost, woman of the chats. But I feel bad about this. You guys should not be subject to this report. It's awful. It's awful.
Oh wow, that's crazy. When you on my page, on my channel page, it said there were 13 less people watching than when you actually open it. Interesting. Fuck you, YouTube. 65 likes, 80 what? 1? Let's get those up for the time being, just because we're here. But go and make your free Rockfin account. And if you have like some weird like moral compunction about Rockfin, which is weird in the first place, because somebody told you that it's censorship, which it's not. Then we're also on Odyssey. Odyssey's going to have live streaming soon. We're going to be pushing the fuck out of that because it is a legitimately like non-paywalled way to watch content. Basically, like all of our content on Rockfin is free for at least a few days. All of the Assange vigils, every episode of Anonymous Bites Back, always going to be free. And really, we're going to be doing this full time. I'm going to be doing this 100% full time. Like I'm putting building on hold, and doing this until, you know, I'm in a dissident camp or they turn the internet off or whatever. And that's 100% going to be, how long I do that is going to be determined by audience support, basically. So that's where it's at. I mean, that's that's where we are. We teamed up with the MCSC network as a way to get not only to get more eyes on this channel, but because we need an entire fucking mass of people in order to do media the way that media needs to be done. And we're going to put people on the ground, not so they can set up somebody and make them look like a fucking idiot just to fucking prove a partisan point, but to have actual conversations with people.
Which is what we do already.
Yeah. Yeah. We'd just like to do it in more places more often.
Yeah.
And we would like to hold events like we're doing, which is 100%, audience supported. Not just in DC every once in a while, or where it feels like it's a fucking, it's the only place we're going, but we would like to be all over the fucking place. And I can't stress this enough. We need to not just protest in front of government buildings. We have to go to where the tech overlords are. We have to go to, fucking, we have to take it to Google. We have to take it to YouTube. We have to take it to Facebook. We have to take it to Patreon. Like, it's not enough to just be like, fuck you, I'm not going to post my content there. Like, not only do people need to see that we're over their bullshit by trying to hurt them financially by voting with your wallet. That's voting with your wallet. But there has to be a legitimate public presence, because power concedes nothing without a demand.
Yes, sir.
And because Malcolm X told Reverend Annie that we only get what we organize for and take.
Yes, sir. Reverend Annie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shall we go back to the executive summary, Mr. CEO? I can read some of it too. I have it up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Let me go ahead and. Oh, okay. That's hella tiny, Jones.
Can you see it now?
Okay.
All right. Part 1, Defending America in the AI area. AI-enhanced capabilities will be the tools of first resort in a new era of conflict as strategic competitors developed AI concepts and technologies for military and other malign uses, and cheap and commercially available AI applications ranging from deepfakes to lethal drones become available to rogue states, terrorists, and criminals. What about Clearview fucking AI, bitch? Okay. The United States must prepare to defend against these threats by quickly and responsibly adopting AI for national security and defense purposes. Defending against AI-capable adversaries operating at machine speed without employing AI isn't an invitation to disaster. Human operators will not be able to keep up with or defend against AI-enabled cyber or disinformation attacks, drone swarms, or missile attacks without the assistance of AI-enabled machines. National security professionals must have access to the world's best technology to protect themselves, perform their missions, and defend us, because that's who we trust the most. The Commission recommends that the government take the following actions. Defend against emerging AI-enabled threats to America's free and open society, good one. Digital dependence in all walks of life, transforming personal and commercial vulnerabilities into potential national security weaknesses. Adversaries are using AI systems to enhance disinformation campaigns and cyber attacks. Yeah, we haven't heard that before, bitch. They are harvesting data on Americans to build profiles of their beliefs, behavior, biological makeup for tailored attempts to manipulate or coerce individuals. This gathering storm of foreign influence and interference requires organizational and policy reforms to bolster our resilience. The government needs to stand up a task force and 24/7 operation center to confront digital disinformation. Wow, we haven't heard that before. It needs to be better secure its own databases and prioritize data security and foreign investment screening, supply chain risk management, and national data protection legislation. The government should leverage AI-enabled cyber defense to protect against AI-enabled cyber attacks, and biosecurity must become a top-tier priority in national security policy. When does this page fucking end? Okay.
I mean, I can jump in if you're...
No, I can go. Prepare for future warfare. Our armed forces' competitive military technical advantage could be lost within the next decade if they do not accelerate the adoption of AI across their missions. It's already fucking lost because y'all bitches got no fucking heart. This will require marrying down top-down leadership with bottom-up innovation to put operationally relevant AI applications into place. The Department of Defense should first establish the foundations for widespread integration of AI by 2025. Yeah, can I make it till I'm 30 at least without this? This includes building a common digital infrastructure, developing a digitally literate workforce, and instituting more agile acquisition, budget, and oversight processes. How about getting people clean water first, you dumbass? It also requires strategically divesting from military systems that are ill-equipped for AI-enabled warfare and instead investing in next-generation capabilities. Oh, thanks for your consideration, you punk ass. Second, achieve a state of military AI readiness by 2025. Pentagon leadership must act now to drive organizational reforms, design innovative warfighting concepts, establish AI and digital readiness performance goals, and define a joint warfighting network architecture. The Department of Defense must also augment and focus its AI research and development portfolio. Readiness will also require promoting AI interoperability with allies and partners. Hey, bitch, I got something for your fucking allies and partners. So, Steve, any comments?
Yeah. The look, it's filled with so much like boardroom jargon that first of all, it just like it makes me very, very thankful that it's not my life to have to digest this and pretend like it's anything other than nonsensical garbage. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't see myself going and sitting in an office preparing this, right? So it makes me very grateful that that's not what I'm doing. But they pretend like, and throughout the report they allude to the fact that the US has not been working on this for the last 50, 60, 70 years. They pretend
DARPA.
that we're basically starting from zero.
Yeah.
In terms of preparing for a race to win the AI era, which the hubris in that statement is fucking mind-blowing. But anyway.
Does Project Convergence not exist?
Right. So what you guys, while we're going through this, what you guys need to remember, and I said it earlier, is that it's a pitch. This is how they're scaring the people who determine how much money they get. So they're going to use a bunch of terminology designed to like essentially make America look weaker and more needy, desperate for the funding and the leeway to go ahead and explore and expand as they try to reorient society.
Yeah, I mean, it's
through
not
artificial
like
intelligence.
it's not like exactly what the government is doing, but it's what the government is recommending that itself do.
Yeah, and they're using
That
Eric
makes sense.
Schmidt's talking points to do it.
Yeah. Because that's how policy recommendations and policy papers work. They're technically policies, they're just not being enacted because it's just a recommendation. That's what these fucking dickwads over at think tanks do. Fuck y'all.
But yeah, they're laying out they're basically in this defend against emerging AI enabled threats section. They're essentially laying out the Ministry of Truth ran by artificial intelligence. So I'm gonna come back to it I guess just to underscore the point.
Oh, goody.
Yeah, I know. Again, we're on the MCSC network now, and we're going to be doing the show full time. So we're going to start showing lazy fucking partisan hacks that have webcams and shows how they're supposed to be doing this. So this little section right here, and hopefully I didn't just make it so you can't see it now, but adversaries are using AI systems to enhance disinformation campaigns and cyber attacks. They're harvesting data on Americans to build profiles of their beliefs, behavior, and biological makeup for tailored attempts to manipulate or coerce individuals. This gathering storm, nice play on cue there, of foreign influence and interference requires organizational and policy reforms to bolster our resilience.
Mr. CEO of Scoop Gang.
Glory Jones.
Question. So, what was deemed to be activities done by adversaries against us? Wasn't those also committed against the general public by the American government and intelligence agencies and big tech companies?
Yeah, 100%. In fact, like they just laid out what we all saw in the Shadowgate documentary that Millie Weaver produced.
Yeah.
And again, I don't agree with the angle that Millie took in that documentary. I don't agree with trying to turn it into a really piss poor reelect Donald Trump campaign commercial. I don't agree with that at all. But they showed you the shit, and they showed you who's in charge of it and where the money's coming from, and a couple of those names will surface as we get more into this report. So the National Security Council is telling you exactly what they're going to use this technology for by telling you what it's there to prevent. And we already know that in several ways, some of this already exists on a handful of levels. Not that it's necessarily being ran by machine learned software, like there's still human components to it, but the framework for it already exists. They're just looking to step up their workflow, essentially. And they're calling for a task force, right? The government needs to stand up a task force and 24/7 operations center to confront digital disinformation. That's your AI-driven Ministry of Truth. That's 100% exactly and only what that is.
We're going to get all the QAnon context warnings now.
Fuck you. So let's just power through this, because we're slightly less than halfway through right now, and I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm gonna drop in on Allie's stream later. I think I may.
Allie. I'm gonna be on with Allie tomorrow on Franco's show. Shout out to Allie, y'all. She's got a kick-ass channel called Chicago Corner. Get on that shit.
Also,
if you like what she's saying in the chats, then subscribe.
Go hang out with Allie on the corner. You're welcome to use that as a promo too. I almost got to. I having a hard time with seeing the bit all the way through today. I did. Yeah. I gave it up on Franco's show earlier today. So I don't even know if you guys
haven't.
if you guys haven't seen it, that twice now I've played a
And I know
character.
Sequoia is gonna be in DC, so he can meet me since he's never heard of me.
I told you, Josh. I told you she was going to mention that. I told you. I twice now I've played this character like fucking just disaffected progressive hipster called Sequoia Morewhite, and I did that on Frank Analysis earlier today, and he asked me about vaccines, and I opened my mouth to say some fucking bullshit, and I couldn't do it. I couldn't. I was like, no, fuck, I'm
Steve.
sorry. I can't.
Come on, bruh.
I can't. I
Come
can't.
on.
I can't.
Come
I can't.
on.
I can't. I thought I could. But
Come
no.
on. Come on, Steve. Sharpen
we're
up.
working something up for that character's like final appearance for a while. I can't like run with it too often, but it's a good bit, so I'll hold on to it. But yeah, he'll have his last.
Hey, bro, you
hurrah.
gotta sharpen up. You gotta sharpen up if the core is gonna be on for longer segments.
Oh, I know. I need to. No, we fucking Fee and Pasta and fucking Johnny Hitchcock. Fucking, we were supposed to get together over the weekend for a little like script writing thing to kind of help that out. Nah.
Combo couch.
Nah, none. Yenny, that's for you, Jones. That's for you. Just for you.
What?
You heard me.
Yenny who?
You heard me.
Yeti who? Is that what you were saying?
I think so. I don't know.
Is that supposed to be like another like white guy thing or?
I mean, it sounded Ned Flandersy.
You should just stick to whatnot.
That's pastas though. Like I don't know.
Don't act like you haven't said whatnot before. Come on, bro. Come on.
No, you're right. I have.
You've said it casually before. Don't deny it.
Manage risks associated with AI-enabled and autonomous weapons.
Oh.
AI will enable new levels of performance and autonomy for weapon systems, but it also raises important legal, ethical, and strategic questions about surrounding the use of lethal force.
Yeah, no shit.
Provided their use is authorized by a human commander or operator, properly designed and tested AI-enabled and autonomous weapon systems can be used in ways that are consistent with international humanitarian law. DoD's rigorous existing weapons review and targeting procedures, including its dedicated protocols for autonomous weapon systems. By the way, in case it's like lost in the fucking ridiculous language, the sanitization of it, what they're talking about are drones, which have a 10% success rate.
Oh, Steve, you gotta read the next line.
I am
and commitment.
Yeah. No, I was going to back up to the DoD's rigorous existing weapons review and targeting procedures, including its dedicated protocols for autonomous weapon systems and commitment to strong AI ethical principles are capable of ensuring that the United States will field safe and reliable AI-enabled and autonomous weapon systems to use them in a lawful Woo! While it is neither feasible nor currently in the interest of the United States to pursue global prohibition of AI-enabled and autonomous weapon systems,
no shit.
Global unchecked use of such systems could increase risks of unintended conflict, escalation, and crisis instability.
Projection.
To reduce risks, the U.S. should clearly and publicly affirm existing U.S. policy that only human beings can authorize employment of nuclear weapons and seek similar commitments from Russia and China. Establish venues to discuss AI's impact on crisis stability with competitors and develop international standards of practice for the development, testing, and use of AI murder machines. I just want to. I'll get through the page before we stop. Transform national intelligence. The
God.
IT should adopt and integrate AI-enabled capabilities across all aspects of its work. One more time, the intelligence community should adopt and integrate AI-enabled capabilities across all aspects of its work, from collection to analysis. Intelligence will benefit from AI more than any other national security mission.
Oh, good.
To capitalize on AI, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, that is currently ran by a monster named Avril Haines, needs to empower and resource its science and technology leaders. The entire intelligence community should leverage open source and publicly available information in its analysis and prioritize collection of scientific and technical intelligence. For better insights, intelligence agencies will need to develop innovative approaches to human-machine teaming that use AI to augment human judgment, scale up talent and digital talent in government. National security agencies need more digital experts now, or they will remain unprepared to buy, build, and use AI and associated technologies. The talent deficit in Department of Defense and the intelligence community represents the greatest impediment to being AI ready by 2025. The government needs new talent pipelines, including a U.S. Digital Service Academy to train current and future employees. It needs a civilian National Digital Reserve Corps. One more time, the National Security Council on Artificial Intelligence is advocating a civilian National Digital Reserve Corps to recruit people with the right skills, including industry experts, academics, and recent college grads.
Try that shit on me. I fucking dare you.
Go undercover, Glory Jones. And it needs a digital corps modeled on the Army Medical Corps to organize technologists already serving in government. And then establish justified confidence in AI systems. I love this, dude. I do. If AI systems routinely do not work as designed or are unpredictable in ways that can have significant negative consequences, then leaders will not adopt them, operators will not use them, Congress will not fund them, and the American people will not support them. To establish justified confidence, the government should focus on ensuring that its AI systems are robust and reliable, including through research and development investments in AI security and advancing human AI teaming through a sustained initiative led by the National Research Labs. It should also enhance DoD's testing and evaluation capabilities as AI-enabled systems grow in number, scope, and complexity. Senior-level responsible AI leads should be appointed across the government to improve executive leadership and policy oversight. Yarg. Back to you, Glory Jones.
So, anonymous personality. Yeah, that's what I feel like. This is what I feel like doing right now.
Speaking of, is there ABB tonight?
I would imagine.
Maybe.
I don't know though.
I mean, like going back up to that first paragraph, that was literally just a projection of all the war crimes they committed with drones. Yeah. Ugh. Can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. It was me behind the mask.
God damn. That's fucking. I mean, that's just hectic. It is. And you know what,
Bro,
dude?
college
I'll tell you what,
campuses are already a cesspit of recruiting for the CIA. Come on.
Before we really unpack that last little bit, there's one more section to that, one more paragraph to that, and then it moves on to part 2. So they want to present a democratic model of AI use for national security.
Oh my God. Steve.
What?
Yeah.
AI tools are critical for U.S. intelligence, homeland security, and law enforcement agencies. Public trust will hinge on justified assurance that the government use of AI will respect privacy, civil liberties, and civil rights. The government must earn that trust and ensure that its use of AI tools is effective, legitimate, and lawful. The imperative calls for developing AI tools to enhance oversight and auditing, increase public transparency about AI use, and building AI systems that advance the goals of privacy preservation and fairness. It also requires ensuring that those impacted by government actions involving AI can seek redress and have due process. The government should strengthen oversight and governance mechanisms and establish a task force to assess evolving concerns about AI and privacy, civil liberties, and civil rights. I don't even know, dude. I really don't. Like, it's almost like they threw that in there as the last paragraph just to be like, okay, we're covering our asses with this, right? Everyone's cool with this. We can just go ahead and move
What
on.
they always do. It's like I've had the incredible mispleasure of reading the LAPD police commission reports on facial recognition, and they do the exact same thing. Where at the very end of everything, they say, "Oh, but we'll ensure the proper oversight. There won't be any overreach for this use of facial recognition software, and yada yada yada. We're gonna care about your civil liberties and your civil rights because this co-opted organization says that we need to be concerned with it. So we're going to include said co-opted organization in our task force to oversee it, along with ourselves, of course, because that's how the police state and national security state operate." Democracy, guys.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
I mean, yeesh, dude. It's just the whole section on autonomous weapons. They almost act like they're not designing literal soulless killing machines and basing the ethics and integrity of their guidance systems off of drones.
Because drones have had such a wonderful success rate so far.
So look, I'm not doubting that they can't park a missile in a like 2 meter by 2 meter box. I'm just saying they don't want to. That's not the collateral murder. It's not collateral. It's part of the deal. Civilian casualties are baked in to the entire bombing campaign. Like it's something that they have to pretend to feel bad about, murdering people without ever knowing whether or not what they're up to, just assassinating motherfuckers from 2 miles above like it's a fucking video game. That's what they're talking about in this report. But like, I guess more up close and personal, machine driven murder bots.
Because as long as it's a human which ultimately does it, it's fine.
I mean, that's fucked up.
Yeah. I can start reading through part 2 if you want.
Can we train AI to? I just lost it. God damn it. Can
No,
we train
no,
AI to be
no,
psychedelic?
no.
That'd be neat.
You can. You can. I mean, I won't stop you.
Victory Gen Sequoia is supposed to be a clown. It is. He is. He is.
Okay.
That man bun does weird things to you chicks, dude. It does. It's fucking silly. Stop it.
Okay. Okay. Back to part 2.
Moving on.
Part 2. Winning the technology competition. Yay! Proactivity now. The race to research, develop, and deploy AI and associated technologies is intensifying the technology competition that underpins a wider strategic competition. China is organized, resourced, and determined to win this contest. The United States retains advantages in critical areas, but current trends are concerning. While a competitive response is complicated by deep academic and commercial interconnections, the United States must do what it takes to retain its innovation leadership and position in the world. The US government must embrace the AI competition and organize it to win by orchestrating and aligning US strengths. Organized with a White House-led strategy for technology competition. The United States must elevate AI considerations from the technical to the strategic level. Emerging technologies led by AI now underpin our economic prosperity, security, and welfare. The White House should establish a new Technology Competitiveness Council led by the Vice President to integrate security, led by the Vice President. So if this were now, this would be Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris would be leading this shit to integrate security, economic and scientific considerations, develop a comprehensive technology strategy, and oversee its implementation. I don't know about you, but I don't trust the Vice President to do that shit just saying. Win the global talent competition. Oh, I like this paragraph. The United States risks losing the global competition for scarce AI expertise if it does not cultivate more potential talent at home and recruit and retain more existing talent from abroad. Yeah, let's go bomb Somalia some more so we can take all of their AI geniuses. Yeah. The United States must move aggressively on both fronts. Congress should pass a National Defense Education Act too to address deficiencies across the American education. Okay. The American educational system from K to 12 and job reskilling to investing in thousands of undergraduate and graduate level fellowship in fields critical to the AI future. At the same time, Congress should pursue a comprehensive immigration strategy for hardly skilled immigrants to encourage more AI talent to study, work, and remain in the United States through new incentives and visa, green card, and job portability reforms. Since we're on to the next page, I'm just going to stop there and see what you have to say, Mr. CEO of Scoop Gang.
Yeesh. Dude, oh
my God.
I mean, okay, so we've already got like still with a ridiculous number of students learning from home, right? But learning government standardized education from home. And if the plan, part of the reimagining, right? The reset of education is to make solitary little coders that get funneled into public-private partnerships to throw them onto public-private AI projects that will then go on to assassinate public-private citizens. Well, seems bleak. To be perfectly honest, like and again, I mean, this is shit that when Congress gets a hold of it, you'll maybe have a couple of people be like, I have a few more questions. But after that, their eyes just kind of glaze over. We've got a room full of millionaire and multimillionaire lawyers, essentially, who are being told we're losing the race for AI supremacy. We need to step up our game. We're gonna have a bunch of little, a bunch of little, raise a generation of programmers, and they'll be like, yeah, great. Who would just let me know.
Oh, so like a
where
bunch
I
of
need
little,
to-
so like a bunch of little Sabus, but 10,000 times worse.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Fucking amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Straight up. Like, but I mean, this is what needs to be resisted. This is what needs to be protested. This is something that is completely post-partisan. This is the blueprint for the technocratic panopticon, and we should be in the streets over that. Really should.
Alrighty then. Let's get back to this feel-good shit, shall we? Accelerate AI innovation at home. The government must make major new investments in AI research and development and establish a national AI research infrastructure that democratizes access to they love that word, access to the resources that fuel AI development across the nation. Before clean water, I repeat, before housing, and before food, pretty much. The government should, 1, double non-defense funding for AI research and development annually to reach $32 billion per year by 2026. That's where your next stimulus check is going. Establish a national technology foundation and triple the number of national AI research institutes. 2, establish a national AI research infrastructure composed of cloud computing resources, test beds, large-scale open training data, and an open network, an open knowledge network that will broaden access to AI and support experimentation in new fields of science and engineering. And 3, strengthen commercial competitiveness by creating markets for AI and by forming a network of regional innovation clusters. Oh, great. Innovation clusters. Okay. Implement comprehensive intellectual property policies and regimes. The United States must recognize IP policy as a national security priority for preserving America's leadership in AI and emerging technologies. This is especially important in light of China's efforts to leverage and exploit IP policies. The U.S. lacks the comprehensive IP policies it needs for the AI era and is hindered by legal uncertainties and current U.S. patent eligibility and patentability doctrine. The U.S. government needs a plan to reform IP policies and regimes in ways that are designed to further national security priorities. Oh, that's so reassuring. Build a resilient domestic base for designing and fabricating microelectronics. After decades leading the microelectronics industry, the United States is now almost entirely reliant on foreign sources for production of the cutting edge semiconductors that power all the AI algorithms critical for defense systems and everything else. Put simply, the U.S. supply chain for advanced chips is at risk without concerted government action. Rebuilding domestic chip manufacturing will be expensive, but the time to act is now. The United States should commit to a strategy to stay at least 2 generations ahead of China in the state-of-the-art microelectronics and commit the funding and incentives to maintain multiple sources of cutting-edge microelectronics fabrication in the U.S. Protect America's technology advantages. As the margin of U.S. technological advantage narrows and foreign efforts to acquire American know-how in dual-use technologies increase, you pompous fucks. Wow. The United States must re-examine how to best protect ideas, technology, and companies without unduly hindering innovation. The U.S. must first modernize export controls and foreign investment screening to better protect critical dual-use technologies, including by building regulatory capacity and fully implementing legislative reforms, implementing coordinated export controls on advanced semiconductor manufacturing equipment with allies, and expanding disclosure requirements for investors from competitor nations. Second, protect the U.S. research enterprise as a national asset by providing government agencies and law enforcement and research institutions with tools and resources to conduct nuanced risk assessments and share information on specific threats and tactics, coordinating research protection efforts with allies and partners, bolstering cybersecurity support for research institutions, and strengthening visa vetting to limit problematic research collaborations.
I mean, shit, dude. Let's go ahead and talk about a little. I do want to point out that like there's some shit in here that I don't understand very well. You know, little bit over my head. I get the broad strokes on a lot of it. I get the nuts and bolts on a lot of it, but the intellectual property thing, like I am not well versed on, but Adam Kokesh is. So I called him this morning and said, hey, like you're about the only person that I've had on the show that's ever mentioned intellectual property as a thing that you are a nerd about, and could you come on soon and we'll flesh this one out, because I was reading some crazy shit in the NSCAI. And he's like, what's that?
Oh boy, Adam, are you in for it?
So now he's in the rabbit hole. And if you watch Adam versus the Man, I would expect down the road here before too long for him to go in on this one too. But yeah, we'll again, man, there's some of this shit we're gonna be spending some time on. So there's that. But
they're giving our good boys in blue the tools necessary to conduct risk assessments. 'Cause who more trustworthy than the fucking cops, Steve?
Let's also not forget that we already have pre-crime.
Yeah. We have pre-crime. We have Palantir.
But like this is full on Minority Report that they're suggesting in that paragraph, because again, pre-crime exists, and you know that because you watch this show. Do your friends know that? Like you guys talk to people about this shit, right? Like, holy fuck, there's pre-crime. That's a thing that you've all said to someone in real life that you care about. Like, what the fuck? Why is there pre-crime? And yeah, they're laying out laying out the blueprint for AI driven pre-crime, like, as a positive in law enforcement.
Yeah. Woohoo! More predictive policing.
So
Yay!
there's only a couple of paragraphs left, and we'll, I guess, move the fuck on for the time being. Jesus Christ, dude. Build a favorable international technology order. The U.S.
Oh,
must
wow.
work hand in hand with allies and partners to promote the use of emerging technologies to strengthen democratic norms and values, coordinate policies and investments to advance global adoption of digital infrastructure and technologies, defend the integrity of the international technical standards, cooperate to advance AI innovation, and share practices and resources to defend against malign uses of technology and the influence of authoritarian states in democratic societies. The U.S. should lead an emerging technology coalition to achieve these goals and establish a multilateral AI research institute to enhance the U.S.'s position as a global research hub for emerging technology. The Department of State should be reoriented, reorganized, and resourced to lead diplomacy in emerging technologies. That's our rare earth minerals war, by the way. We'll come back to that. When the associated technologies competitions, leadership in AI is necessary, but not sufficient for overall U.S. technological leadership. Of course not. AI sits at the center of the constellation of emerging technologies. Wow, that's fucking poetry, Jason. Enabling some and enabled by others. The U.S. must therefore develop a single authoritative list of the technologies that will underpin national competitiveness in the 21st century and take bold action to catalyze U.S. leadership in AI, microelectronics, biotechnology, quantum computing, 5G, robotics, and autonomous systems, additive manufacturing, and energy storage technology. U.S. leadership across these technologies requires investing in specific platforms that will enable transformational breakthroughs and building vibrant domestic manufacturing ecosystems in each. At the same time, the government will need to continuously identify and prioritize emerging technologies farther over the horizon. The new era of competition promises to change the world we live in. How we live within it. We can either shape the change to come or be swept along by it. We now know that the uses of AI in all aspects of life will grow and the pace of innovation will continue to accelerate. We know adversaries are determined to turn AI capabilities against us. We know China is determined to surpass us in AI leadership. You already opened by arguing from a point of weakness. Neat. We know advances in AI build on themselves and confer significant first mover advantages. This fucking corporate shit is weird. Confer significant first mover advantages. What the fuck does that even? Anywho, now we must act. The principles we establish, the federal investments we make, the national security applications we field, the organizations we redesign, the partnerships we forge, the coalitions we build, and the talent we cultivate will set America's strategic course. The United States should invest what it takes to maintain its innovation and leadership, to responsibly use AI to defend free people and free societies, to advance the frontiers of science for the benefit of all humanity. AI is going to reorganize the world. America must lead the charge.
And the home of the cunts. Douche cunts.
Yo.
No. Just no.
I mean, look,
No.
right. No, I get it. I get it. But leadership is necessary but not sufficient.
Yeah. We need to win all of the associated technologies races. So basically, we want a fourth industrial revolution, but we would really prefer if it's us that gets to do the deep sea mining instead of Mark Benioff. Just saying.
Right. Dude, what that like they're casual about it. They use a lot of industry jargon to cover it up, but they're flat the fuck out saying here is our blueprint and wish list in terms of purchases for how we are going to develop AI supremacy so that our AI overlord is doing what we tell the AI overlord to do. Like this straight the fuck up is how like every dystopian AI controlled sci-fi novel starts.
Watch the public-private partnership is going to be called Skynet.
Right. I mean, but flat the fuck out. Like this is how that starts with a group of dudes in suits and military uniforms, straight up announcing to the world that they have the hubris to create an artificial intelligence driven world so in all ways superior to other AI driven worlds or AI driven nations that and yet think that like it won't look at them or us as, oh, you're all. If you want to see good predictive programming, go watch Person of Interest. That's some cultural conditioning for your fucking for this document. Just go watch like the first, I don't know, like watch the first couple of episodes and then skip ahead to like season 3 or 4 when it gets like super shit showy, just so you can see what 2030 is gonna look like. And be like, fuck, I don't want to be near a major city for any of this shit.
It's gonna get fucked.
But yeah, I mean, the Minority Report shit that they're talking about, what they want the machine to do is be able to digitally map your face, connect it to a database, and it will not only know everything you've done.
A database which takes from social media too.
Yeah, it will be able to predict what you are going to do. It will be able to predict, and at least in the show that I'm talking about, it did categorizes humans into relevant and irrelevant. Relevant because they're about to be a threat, or they're about to be the victim of a threat. Originally conceived for terrorism, but applied domestically for crime, all crime. That's what this report is laying out. So, get out in the streets with us over it. Fucking
Do it for my future, guys.
If you're in major cities, maybe start talking to like-minded people about getting out, building a community, or find a community that already exists. Fucking help build it out. Like, we need to make sure that we have established networks, fucking ways that we can guarantee mutual aid and shit like that. That needs to happen.
And roll deep in your mutual aid actions too.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get run over by cops on horses.
Yeah.
Horses. Because nobody quite loves bringing horses to a downtown urban setting with fireworks going off, like the Los Angeles Police Department. I'll never get over that. I won't. They brought up horses to a fucking Dodgers celebration downtown with fireworks and people doing donuts at intersections.
Yeah, that's so they can beat the shit out of people on foot for spooking the horses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually like that trick quite a bit.
They do. Or, some of them just like a good old-fashioned batoning too, which is what they did on Monday to activists. But, that's just standard at this point. Fucking, ugh.
So everybody is in the ABB chat now. So we should probably sign off and shortly hop over to Anonymous Bites Back. It's been a busy evening for me.
It's been a busy evening for me too, Steve. Damn it. That's how Scoop Gang does it.
Getting there, Jones. Damn.
Damn you, Steve. You were taking too long to get to that point.
Nice guys finish last.
That's no excuse to be a dickhead.
What you got, Jones? What you got? What you got?
Fight the incoming wave of gatekeeping, please. Yeah. Big thanks to Richie for having me on last minute to come and promo all the events happening on the 17th.
Hell yeah.
And check out, I wrote this on my hand. Yeah, that's a reminder to promo that so tomorrow I have a panel on Franco's channel. Franco, another new member of the FCSC network. Franco, men like Franco. Okay, so I'm gonna be on Franco's channel on a panel with him, Jackson Hinkle, and the lovely Ali Alexandra. Like I said, subscribe to her channel, Chicago Corner, if you like what she's putting in the chats. We're going to be on video together for the first time tomorrow. And let's just say the topic is going to be activism and politics. So, I mean, I'm not saying the Great Reset is going to come up, but you should expect it from me, guys.
Glory's straight been like, she's got Eye of the Tiger on repeat in her earbuds training to break some brains tomorrow.
Okay, not Eye of the Tiger. I don't get hyped to that music.
I was fucking with you.
I know you were, but come on. But like something I
it's
liked
really
all
the
of it.
bluegrass version of AC/DC's Back in Black album.
I liked all of it except for the song that you gave me. Like, I like Hasta Siempre. You could have said that. I like anime openings. You could have said that, Steve.
It's true. It's true. I would have said anime opening. I here's some inside baseball. Like probably about half of the time when we pop onto Jitsi before the show, she's got the anime music going.
Loud as fuck.
I can't help it. I'm a loud person.
Or reggae.
That's true. It's normally one of those two. Because reggae makes me happy, or at least some of the time it does, depending on like what type it is. Because like depending on which part of roots reggae you're listening to, it can Yeah, but like, or if I want to feel hype, then I'll come in with like some anime openings. But that's normally what I come in. Like there's more selections too, but that's normally what I come in because it's like depending on my mood and shit. So you know what's up? Big shout out to the Anons because we about to go on their program. Big shout out to our base god, tech ninja, Sleepy J, and big shout out to Steve, CEO Scoop Gang. And yeah, big shout out to both of them for putting up with me.
Likewise.
So, ABB will be live on the Rockfin in about 5 minutes, or a half an hour. I don't know, because those dudes bullshit for a while before we go live. I don't think there's anything tomorrow.
Hey, Steve, we have a website.
Glory's going to be on a panel tomorrow. Make sure you do that. I may pop into Chicago Corner too for a few minutes while we're on ABB.
Oh, and I was on Fault Lines too. Shout out. Forgot to say that.
Oh, yeah. Glory was on Fault Lines. And you should go listen to that interview. You should listen to every Glory Jones interview on Fault Lines. God love him. Jamarl Thomas cannot bring himself to say my name or action for Assange's name.
He deadass said, "Oh yeah, so I know that there's some DC events being organized by Glory Jones and Misty Winston and others."
Others.
Yeah.
Am I an other?
And then the last time, the time before that, he forgot, I guess, that you were the founder of Slow News Day. So they were
He's
like,
been on the show.
I was like, yeah, Glory Jones co-host Slow News Day with Misty Winston, and I'm like, no.
Dude, he's been on the show. Come on.
But it's so weird because like they have me on and like I'm really grateful that they had me on to like promote the events and stuff, but like
no, dude,
it's a little weird.
It's a recurring thing though, to where the guests are like, God, I need their audience to hear it. And it used to be like, yo, dude, I get to go talk to Lee and Garland today. Fuck yeah. I really need their audience to hear it. And they're not hearing it anywhere else. So fuck yeah, I'm going to go on the show. And I go on in a fucking heartbeat, dude. I would. Just,
Yeah, they'll just have to settle for the co-host for now.
But it's okay to say my name, dude. It is. It's all right. You can do it. I believe in you. I have faith in you. I do. I believe you can.
Yeah, please don't make me the only person. Like, please don't make me the designated Assange person. Like, I care about the issue, and like, I mean, I'll keep talking about it if you keep inviting me on. But like, dude, there's way better people than
me. No Sunday morning Slow News Day. I get on a flight at 5:30 in the morning. I will be in DC mid-afternoon, early evening, some shit like that. I don't know if we're doing a Sunday night or not. We haven't got that far yet. Starting probably Monday or Tuesday, whenever Convo Couch gets in, there will be live from DC streams going on. Expect that shit. It's gonna be fun, dude. Those are so much fun. They're so much fun.
Yeah. And it'll be the first time
Wednesday and Thursday, Clovers for Assange. if you are anywhere near DC, please get there. We have a Go Get funding up right now. I'm going to be using all of it basically on Monday for supplies. We're still making the fucking puppets. Like, I'm not giving up on it. There should be a link dropped in chats for that. I'm an asshole and I don't have that ready. Come on. What? I think that's working on something with Ian and Reverend Annie. But I don't have any details on that specifically.
Reverend Annie.
But there will absolutely be a field trip to Baltimore.
I don't want to get my hopes up.
Future.
But if I could be represented in person, oh my god.
So it's gonna be a busy week. We're gonna have a lot of stuff that we'll be putting out. Big thanks to Sleepy Josh on the ones and twos, to my better than your co-host Glory Jones, to Nico House and the MCSC network for inviting us on. We need a big ass fucking crew to kick a proper hole in this bullshit fucking media structure that we're all trying to bring a little bit more truth to. So yeah, that's what that's about. Thanks to everybody in the chats. You guys fucking rock. And we love you, and we're going to need your support more than ever. Please go make the Rockfin account. Please do. And if you dig what we're doing, endorse the channel. We have 40 people who have endorsed Slow News Day, which is pretty fucking incredible, to be honest. But we need to double that, definitely. Like by the end of the month, if possible. So let's try to do that. We hit 3,500 subscribers overnight on Rockfin. That's fucking incredible.
Yay.
Help us lap YouTube. Let's
on Rockfin and on ABB too.
Yeah, and on ABB. So if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the Anonymous Worldwide channel, go on YouTube, go sub that channel.
Just do it because we're on there a bunch now.
Than Slow News Day.
Yeah, we're on there a bunch now, so it'll be like it'll just be like subscribing to Slow News Day again.
Chuckles last laugh. Thank you for the Rockfin tip. Bless you.
Thank you for the super
Rachel Sotos, you're fucking awesome. Thank you.
Yes,
we
Rachel.
are all Assange. We love you guys. We'll see you soon. Go over to ABB. And Anonymous Bites Back does stream on the Rockfin, and it is always free. We'll see you guys soon. Good luck to us all.
Love y'all.